And welcome to another week of Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to. We've got football, baseball, basketball, high school, and college on the docket for today. As for the Georgia Southern Eagles, the Eagle baseball team opened up their home schedule. They were supposed to open with Georgia Tech. That game was rained out. They opened up with West Virginia, playing a 3-game series, weren't able to hit the ball, got some good pitching, finally were able to eke out a 1-0 victory to take 1 out of 3. Up next for the baseball team, they'll travel to the College of Charleston, and then they'll be hosting the University of Georgia for a 3-game series beginning Friday night at 6:30, and then Saturday and Sunday games taking place at 1 o'clock. As for the Eagle football team, they continued spring practice. They had their first scrimmage of the spring. We'll hear from head coach Chad Lunsford, some of the players, and give you some highlights from the first scrimmage coming up as well. We'll also, the basketball teams both in action. The guys were able to take 2 on the road at Coastal Carolina and then at Appalachian State. They improved to 10-5 on the season. Up next for them, big 2-game series coming up with Arkansas Little Rock and Arkansas State coming up on Thursday and Saturday at Hanner. The women lost 2 games. Now they are 2-13 on the season. Does not look good for the Eagles to make it to the Sun Belt tournament coming up later on in the month. All right. And as for the area high school teams, you had the Statesboro Lady Blue Devils and the Bulloch Academy boys continuing their runs in the state. Unfortunately, they both came to a close this past week. The Statesboro Lady Devils lost to Veterans in a heartbreaker by 2 points. Had a shot to win the game there at the end, but wasn't able to fall. So their season comes to a close. Good news for the Lady Devils. They return all but 1 player off of this year's team for next year. And as for the Bulloch Academy Gators, they had 6 seniors on the team. Unfortunately, they came up against quite stiff competition in Holy Spirit, which included 4 Division I players, including the #1 prospect in all of America, Anthony Edwards for Holy Spirit. They lost pretty handily on the road at Georgia Southwestern. We'll have highlights of that game for you coming up. And as for the area baseball team, Southeast Bulloch lost a heartbreaker on the road, or at home rather, at Islands, 3-1, a game in which they went into extra innings. Southeast Bulloch left 10 runners on base in that one, so a tough one for the Yellow Jackets. They'll be hosting Screven County coming up on Wednesday. And as for the Statesboro Blue Devils, they lost 2 games on the road at Camden County over the weekend, but were able to bounce back, knocking off Brunswick at Mill Creek Park 3-2. We'll have plenty of highlights coming up for you in just a moment. And a reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com.
The Medical Center Pharmacy on Grenade Street is proud to be your Health Mart pharmacy in Statesboro. The Medical Center Pharmacy, locally owned and serving this community for 50 years, is open 364 days a year. The pharmacists at Medical Center know there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. That's why they take the time to know their customers, explain their medications, and answer any questions. The Medical Center Pharmacy, your Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
I think that was everything. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. So plenty of action going on around the Georgia Southern campus. We'll begin with the Georgia Southern baseball team. They were hosting West Virginia in the first of a 3-game series coming up this past Friday. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from Friday and Saturday. Georgia Southern, the first of a 3-game set against West Virginia on Military Appreciation Night, and Seth Schumann gets the start. He pitched pretty well, keeping West Virginia at bay for most part. They do get to Schumann in the third. Darius Hill sends a single over third. That would bring home TJ Lake, and it's 1-0 West Virginia. Meanwhile, West Virginia pitcher Alex Manoa was doing a good job taking a no-hitter into the fifth. Seth Schumann would keep the Eagles within striking distance. Some nice defense from his catcher Matt Anderson, who gets the runner at second. Then in the sixth, with runners on second and third, Anderson picks off the runner at third to end the threat. It wasn't enough though. West Virginia wins 5-1. Game 2 on Saturday, the first of 2. Braden Hayes on the mound and getting some help. The foul ball here. Jason Swan makes a nice grab over the fence. The Mountaineers start the scoring as Ivan Gonzalez drives the 2-run double to the fence and left, and West Virginia takes a 2-0 lead. More nice defense for the Eagles as the ground ball up the middle. The runner will try to score from second, but Eagles second baseman Blake Evans shows his arm, throwing the runner out at home as Matt Anderson applies the tag. Hayes looking good after the 2-run inning as he'd scatter 5 hits over 4 innings of work and strike out 5 in the process. The Eagles with their chances, but the Mountaineers solid in the field. The 4-6-3 double play ends the inning here. Sophomore lefty Hayden Harris solid in relief as he'd go 2 scoreless innings, allowing no hits and striking out 3. Nice defense here in the fifth as on the bunt attempt, it's Evans avoiding the ump and diving and touching the bag for the out. Wouldn't be enough though as the Mountaineers go on to take game 2 3-1. The Eagles finally able to scratch through for a couple key hits and got a solid performance on the mound from Daniel Collins in game 2 as they avoid the sweep, winning 1-0. Well, the good news, the Eagles able to bounce back there in the second game on Saturday, winning that doubleheader, so they will take 1 of 3. Next up, on the road at College of Charleston, and back home against the University of Georgia for the first of a 3-game series, Friday night at 6:30, then Saturday and Sunday, both at 1 o'clock. As for the Eagle basketball teams, well, the guys were able to take care of business on the road, improving to 10-5, knocking off Coastal Carolina and Appalachian State. The women, not so good. They lost both of their games against the Chanticleers and the Mountaineers this past week, Thursday and Saturday. Let's get out and take a look at some of the highlights from Saturday's matchup with App State. The Georgia Southern Lady Eagles looking to break their losing streak, hosting App State. Mountaineers building on their first half lead. Ashley Pollock, the pull-up jumper. Georgia Southern answering as Tatum Barber hits. And then it's Pollock leading the break, dishing to Tierra Wilson for the bucket. Then more good passing, App State with Lainey Gosnell getting the deuce underneath. The Lady Eagles try to make another run. Nicole Franks coming up with the 3-pointer. But it wouldn't be enough. App wins 70-52. And up next, as we mentioned, the guys will be hosting Arkansas State and Arkansas Little Rock on Thursday night at 7, and then Saturday at 5, the women on the road at those 2 teams. And wrapping things up for the Eagles, you had spring football going on, the first scrimmage taking place this past weekend. We had a chance to give you some highlights and take a listen to head coach Chad Lunsford and some of the players. Chad Lunsford helping to lead the Georgia Southern football team through their first scrimmage of the spring. Early on here, it's Shai Wirtz taking the ball going around the right side for the score. More from the Georgia Southern offense. This time, the give inside to Logan Wright, who plows in for the score. The defense having their moments as well. With the sack, and later a nice hit on the end. Overall, a productive day for both the offense and defense.
We talk about each practice being like a quiz, and then when you get to the scrimmages, that's like your exam, that's your test. And it's just great evaluation opportunities. So we're able to get every single person a rep or more, obviously a lot of reps, and it's an opportunity to see where they're at, how they are improving.
We came in, we had a good intensity. I think we just needed a little more intensity on the team. We did good as a defense, as we pound, but at the end we kind of gave us some plays. So far I feel like spring went great.
All right, stay with us. Coming up next, we'll get into some high school basketball.
What does it mean to have financial freedom?
At Queensboro Wealth Management, we're helping people figure that out.
And giving them a plan to get there.
If you have a desire to take control of your finances and live with financial purpose,
We
will use every bit of our knowledge to help you.
and there's no cost to get started.
Download a free kit from our website, then give any of us a call. QWM is Queensboro Wealth Management. Let's begin today.
Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, providing primary care for Statesboro area patients since 1998, providing complete physicals, complete sports physicals, Medicare wellness exams, full diabetes treatment, and education from lifestyle changes to oral medications to insulin pump therapy. In-house dermatology, in-house circulation tests and ultrasounds, in-house lab. And introducing our new nurse practitioner, Melissa Beasley, as we now accommodate same-day or next-day appointments to serve your needs. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, where we care. Come visit us locally here in Statesboro at Piedmont Loop beside Walmart. And as we mentioned, up next for Southeast Bulloch, they will be hosting Screven County on Wednesday. And as for South Statesboro High, they were able to knock off Brunswick 3-2. And next up for them, they'll be at Brunswick on Wednesday and then host Brunswick Friday at Mill Creek. All right, stay with us. Next up, we'll head out to the high school hardwood. Southeast Bulloch looking to rebound from a 10-0 loss at Islands, hosting the Sharks. The Jackets with their chances throughout here. A nice bunt by Tyler Bailey. The bases loaded. Tyler DeLoach, line drive snagged by Cameron Tomlin, who touches the bag for the double play. The Jackets end up scoreless. On the mound, Blaze Minnick in control. Here he gets Nathan Stempler swinging, but later a walk would eventually prove costly. Cole Strong scores on the wild pitch. 1-0 Sharks. Minnick later getting some good defensive help by Michael Rigdon. More from Minnick here. The strikeout to end the inning. We go to the third. The Jackets threatening. A nice drive to right, lead off by Peyton Carr. He eventually moves to third, and then he'll come in to score as Blaze Minnick sends a deep drive to center. And we're tied at 1-1 after 4. A nice play by the Sharks. Michael Largus would end the inning with 2 runners left on base. Minnick continues his dominance with 9 strikeouts and 5 innings of work, allowing only 1 hit and 1 unearned run. The Jackets again threatening. Peyton Carr's deep fly ball to right. Cole Strong stumbles and makes the grab, though. More good defense by the Jackets. 2 on. Minnick, the diving grab, and he doubles off the runner at second. Then in the 7th, with 1 on, Tucker Check able to gun the runner down at second base. But in the long run, Island scores 2 in the top of the 8th, and they win 3-1. Well, the Statesboro Blue Devils and Bulloch Academy Gators, the girls from Statesboro, the boys from BA, the only teams left in our area playing basketball this past week. Statesboro High was hosting, as they were the #1 seed, they host Veterans. Let's get out and take a look at highlights of that game.
Friday night lights to early morning deer stands, Anderson's General Store in Statesboro is your tailgating and hunting headquarters. Boots from Ariat, Georgia Boot, Irish Setter, Wolverine, and more, we have a pair for you. Check out our Costa and Ray-Ban sunglasses. And apparel from Columbia, Carhartt, and Drake. Dove, ducks, deer, we have all your hunting needs. And tailgate with a Big Green Egg or Traeger grill. Pack in the flavor with delicious sauces and rubs. Haul it all home with a utility trailer. Anderson's General Store, a general store, and so much more.
At Badcock, no credit refused isn't just an offer, it's a way of business and has been for over 100 years. No banks, no ridiculous credit requirements, just local Badcock store owners who treat you right and give you credit when others won't. It's never been easier to express your style and love your home.
A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Well, the Statesboro Blue Devils and Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets both in action this past week. The Statesboro Blue Devils lost a couple of games on the road at Camden County. Southeast Bulloch lost on the road at Islands and then had Islands come to Brooklet. Extra inning affair ended up leaving too many players on base. They left 10 on base. Good pitching performances from Southeast Bulloch. Let's get out and take a look at some of the highlights. Statesboro High hosting Veterans in the State 5A Sweet 16. Early on, Lacey Robbins stops and pops the three-pointer. Later, Robbins will find Bailey Roberts with a nice over-the-shoulder pass for the easy 2. Destiny Hartwell then finds Roberts with the bounce pass. 2 more of her 11 points. Robbins next to Hartwell. Inside for 2. Robbins then comes through with the hoop and the foul. Statesboro up 10-4. But Veterans able to hit the 3 just before the buzzer in the first quarter, tying things at 10-all. In the second, more from the Warhawks. Stacy Jones hits for 2. Statesboro tries to come back as Jemiah Jones penetrates, but the Warhawks up 31-24 at the half. In the second half, Statesboro coming back. Madison Lee 4-2. Next, Jemiah Jones hits for 2 more. Lacey Robbins then drives in for the layup. She finished with 18 points. Sarah Ellis hits the layup. Statesboro on top by 1. Lacey Robbins with the 3. Next, Bailey Roberts, the baseline jumper will fall. And then the pick by Lacey Robbins. She misses the layup but gets her own rebound and puts in 2 more. 40-37. But the Warhawks start coming back. Jones hits 2 more of her 18. And then in the corner, 4-3, Ansley Miranda ties it at 42-all. Robbins then hits the 3. Statesboro up 45-42. Robbins then, a little later, a chance to put things away with the free throw, but she misses. Down by 1, the Warhawks Zykira Jenkins will score with 20 seconds left. They're up by 1. Later, less than 12 seconds left, down 1. Statesboro inbounds, goes off a player right to Sarah Ellis. She's out of bounds. Veterans ends up making 1 free throw. Up by 2. Robbins with a chance for the win. It's off. Statesboro ends their season losing 49-47. As we mentioned earlier, the good news for Statesboro is got a chance to get to the second round of the state with a very young team. They should all be back next year. As for Bulloch Academy, 6 seniors on this year's team propelled them into the Final Four in America. So let's get out and see how they did against Holy Spirit. Bulloch Academy in the state GISA Final Four taking on Holy Spirit and the #1 ranked player in America, Anthony Edwards. He'd only have 7 points, but his teammates helping out. Ibrahima Georgiou with a couple of baskets here with the jam. A little bit later, the Gators finally getting on the board as Don Aaron drills a 3-pointer. Next, it's Kason Jennings going in for the layup. Heritage outscoring BA 19-1 in the second quarter. Buko Pikrovich with the slam, and it's 37-11 Holy Spirit at the half. In the second half, the Gators making a little bit of a run. Ty Mingle for 3. Next, on the break, Matt Childers finds Don Aaron for the layup. Peerless Brown finally gets going from long range. He'd end up with 18 points here with a couple of 3-pointers, but the visiting Cougars, just too much. Amir Langless, big 6'8" forward in the paint, just too much for the much shorter Gators, and they'd go on to take this one 62-36. So the season comes to a close for Coach Chance Cofield's squad. Very good year for Bulloch Academy. They'll be losing 6 seniors. It's going to be tough to replace all of them. As for Holy Spirit, they ended up losing by 3 points to Heritage High School there in the state championship in GISA. Well, that'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.